Hello, everyone who watched this video. Today, I have a special opportunity, special time, can have a special interview with Mr. Martin Ranch. He is the head of communication of World Food Program from Germany. So, good morning on your time, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, so we will talk in this interview about your experiences, about your background, about your all of about your dynamics. So first of all, sir, maybe you can introduce yourself, your personal background, maybe.
Yeah, my name is Martin Rentsch. I'm the head of communications and advocacy here for the WFP Berlin office. We are basically responsible for the German-speaking markets where WFP is present. That is Germany, that is Austria, and that is Liechtenstein, to a certain part also German-speaking Switzerland. And I basically come from a background that has to do with politics and media. I studied this at university. So, communication sciences and political sciences, that is my background. And I worked for NGOs, I worked for other UN organizations and for diplomatic representations as well. And now I'm with WFP have been with WFP for the last, difficult 4 years now.
All right. What originally motivated you to pursue a career in journalism and communication? Maybe you can share about it, sir.
Well, I think when I was a student, what motivated me most was I was very interested in geopolitics, in security studies, um, in things that were going on in the world. That sounds a bit trivial, but that was basically my motivation. And as a student, you don't always know what career you want to pursue. But I was lucky and got the chance to do an internship at UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and that basically got me hooked. I did this internship, and then I went to an NGO who was also working in the humanitarian field, Oxfam, to be precise. And At Oxfam, I did a lot on, campaigning for an end to global hunger, we were engaging with parliamentarians and, making PR actions, PR measures, PR stunts on the street, for the G7. I think at the time it was still G8 summits and all of that. And that, got me interested, A, in the field of politics, and B, in the field of, humanitarian and development assistance. And basically I pursued that path, and now I'm with WFP in this role.
What make you interest to work in humanitarian sectors?
Mm, well, I think what interests me there is, of course, in the world we are currently living in. I mean, there are so many crises, conflicts, wars even. We have a war here at our doorstep in Ukraine. We have the situation in Gaza, and the the people who basically bear the brunt are always the civilian population, right? Be it refugees, be it people who are hungry in these kind of situations. And um, I think in a world, where there's so much conflict and everyone's concentrating on, this conflict and on defense spending, I think it's a good thing to also, engage for values that matter to us, which is humanity, which is, ending hunger, doing something for people who are less privileged, right? And I think that is an important motivation. And, personally, this link also to politics, because it is political. Even though we are a humanitarian organization, the field we are working in is a political field, right? Even though our organization, our mandate is unpolitical, it's still a political field we're working in. And that is also, this connection between humanitarian and political is really, really interesting to me personally.
Yeah, so if I can underline your explanation, maybe all of things in this whole world, maybe in all sectors, it will be related with the politics, right? Yeah. All right. So maybe you can describe your main responsibilities as a head of communication at WFP, WFP, or maybe the responsibilities of the WFP, maybe so.
Yeah. I mean, my responsibilities here in Berlin are a bit different to my colleagues in the field, right? Um, I mean, you certainly know that, WFP is doing food assistance all across the world. It's the biggest humanitarian organization fighting hunger in the world. Finding A, doing emergency food assistance, and B, finding also long-term solutions to hunger. And what we are known for, if you watch television or follow media, that's of course a very visual response, be it in Afghanistan, be it in Gaza, in Sudan, and elsewhere. And I think that is very visual and it is mostly humanitarian response, right? But of course, here in Germany, we are not here because we hand out food assistance. That's of course not needed here. But because we need, the close links to politics. We need, um, contributions, funds from donors like Germany to basically get our to keep our operations working in Sudan, in Gaza, and elsewhere. And that is the main part. And in a world where basically the importance of humanitarian work is dwindling, not because it's less important, because people see it as less important. It's also our job to advocate on the political level, to talk with politicians, to talk with elected MPs, to talk to the ministries and convince them of the work we do and why it's important and why they still have to keep us afloat, keep WFP funded, keep NGOs funded, keep support to the entire sector, because as we all know, the needs are very high all around the world.
All right. So as you mentioned before about maybe three conflicts areas, maybe, yeah, Sudan, Gaza, and maybe before you mentioned Ukraine on there. Uh,
Mhm.
how do you feel, or maybe how about the politics can have a big relation with food program on their on that areas? Maybe can you share about the distributions, or maybe about the what is the main relation between the two big sectors?
You mean politics and humanitarian?
Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what we do is neutral, right? We are not taking sides in any of the conflicts. I think that's the starting point. That's our mandate. And that's why we have the access that no one else basically has, because we are not siding with either side of the conflict. We are a neutral party. We look where is the need, and then we go in, of course, with the permission of the government. We go in and help the people in need, right? But what has become increasingly difficult is this access part, right? And it has to do with, political actors, and also non-political actors who are basically no longer adhering to the principles of humanitarian aid, right? Many people, in many of the conflicts, they just don't care that, it is important to help people who suffer in these conflicts, right? They prevent us from having access. And of course, as a humanitarian organization, we have people who negotiate this kind of access, to actually let a truck in territory of conflict. But oftentimes, we also need partners on the political level, like Germany, like many European countries, like the US, who basically can talk with the conflict parties and say, well, we want you to have access because this is important that we help the people in need there through WFP. So there is a close link. In addition to, of course, the country financial contributions they give to us, it is called humanitarian diplomacy, where we also need, support from the political side to actually do what we are basically have been founded for.
So maybe that's about the political support, and it will be related with the, yeah, as you said before, the distributions. All right, all right.
Yeah,
So,
it's about access, right?
oh,
We do
it's
the
about access.
distributions ourselves, but we sometimes, in difficult circumstances, like in Gaza, like in Sudan, I mean, there are often two sides of the conflict, and sometimes we just can't access some areas, like, for example, the area of El Fasher in Sudan, right? We can't go there, and we want to negotiate access, but sometimes, there's a limit to what we can do, and then we need the political support from international players, and that's where the politics comes in.
Okay, so that is not about the distribution, just the distribution, but the very important thing maybe about the access, and it will be need the political supports. All right. All right. But
Exactly.
yeah, if you can share what personal values guide you in balancing the sensitivity of humanitarian stories, maybe with global communications goals. Maybe that's about the humanitarian stories. What is your personal values?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very broad question. I think I would answer it in a way that, it's very important for my colleagues in the field to talk to the people we are actually serving, right? I mean, we don't want to create narratives or stories that don't have anything to do with what's happening in the ground on the ground. What's happening to the people in Sudan. If you want to know that, you have to speak to the people who are actually affected. And that's where the stories come from. We don't make them up. Of course, we have people in the field, we have communications officers who are close to the people. And, we make their voices heard because they don't have a voice, and we try to make those voices heard. We need journalists like you, maybe in the future, to also tell those stories to a wider public that we can even reach, right? I mean, we are a big organization, but we always have to work with journalists to get those stories from the people we serve across. So it's not that we have a political agenda. It's like we want to make those voices heard. I think that's the most important part. It's not like we have the narrative. We have a certain narrative because it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, there are people suffering in conflicts, in climate crises, in suffering from they can't afford food, and that's a story that needs to be told, especially in a world where many other stories dominate at the moment, and the stories of people who suffer are not sufficiently been told.
All right. Maybe that's about the values and the other, but if you know, sir, in Indonesia now, our government have one program that the main mission is to against the uh, uh, stunting, and then the way that the government use is free nutritious meals, sir.
Hmm.
Yeah, about that. That is the main program in our government now. But the main problems is they moved the budget from education, from the other sectors to this main program. So how do
Okay.
you feel about the main purpose of one program, food program, but how about the relation between this program and about the budget and about the other sectors like that?
I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly. You're asking about an Indonesian government program on school meals, or?
Yes, so they distribute, the government distribute the free nutritious meals. Yeah, the free
Mhm.
nutritious meals to many schools, to many districts uh, in Indonesia, but they
Mhm.
move the budget, the education budget, they take
Mhm.
budget to this main program. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I can comment on that because I don't know how it is in Indonesia, right? I mean, I would need to verify, and maybe my colleagues in your country they can certainly comment on that. I mean, I can give you a very general answer, and that is, school meals is a good thing, right? In many countries, we do school meals. Because if people receive a nutritious meal in school, it increases the incentives to send people for families to send their kids to school, to attend school. That improves education. That improves the nutrition situation of children. Um, and it has many benefits. Of course, it shouldn't be to the extent that other social welfare programs suffer, right? But that is something to comment on for someone who's familiar with the situation, because I'm not really aware of that situation in Germany.
All right. As a head of communication, and I heard before in your videos in YouTube for the Europe
Mhm.
refugees, your first statement is you say that I am a Paris person. So
What person?
I'm a Paris person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very interested with that. So yeah, maybe about your it will be related with your position now as a head of communication, right? But
Mhm.
how do you feel about our main phenomenal things right now? That's about the artificial intelligence, and it is already entered the the
Yeah.
journalism aside. So how do you feel about that? So,
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit concerned, actually, right? Because I mean, I think everyone is using it by now. I mean, we are using it here in our daily work, just to make, processes that are time consuming and unnecessary easier, right? I mean, if you want to summarize an article because you don't have the time to read it, you use AI, right? So we use it every day. But I mean, on the broader scale, from a global view, it definitely has, some some dangers and some problems that are inherent to AI. And if you ever used AI, then you will get to a point where they will just tell you fake news, right? It will not be correct information, and if people rely on incorrect information or just believe that it's true without double checking, that is a huge concern, and that is why journalism and what you do and what you learn is so important, because it's actually the opposite of AI. It's really where's the truth, where's the real information, where is where are the facts, right? And AI is just a level above those facts, above the truth, and they create something on their own. Is it the truth? Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. But getting to the bottom of things, getting to the truth underneath everything, that is, I think, the role of journalism, and that can be substituted by artificial intelligence.
All right. All right. So maybe it can be good if it used to a positive things maybe. Yeah, because
Sure.
yeah, yeah, as you said before, maybe now media already use artificial intelligence for the reportage, maybe for the interviews, maybe. Yeah. And how do you views about the workers in medias? Maybe we already saw that there are some replacement that media don't need more workers person in media because it's already artificial intelligence on there. How do you view that, sir?
Yeah, I'm a bit torn on that, right? Because it's uh, technology is advancing, right? And it has always been the case, when there were typewriters, and then all of a sudden there were computers, people didn't need typewriters, and then everyone used a computer. And of course, some roles were not needed anymore, right? But other new positions, other opportunities opened up. So there's a natural progression or a natural evolvement of technology. I think that is natural, that is good. But the substance of journalism, which is getting to the truth, getting to the facts, getting to what is actually happening, is something that cannot be substituted by an AI. And I think it will still need real people going out there, talking to people, and finding out what's actually happening. And that cannot be substituted. I'm pretty convinced of that. And if it happens, it's a problem.
All right. Why do you think that AI cannot replace the role of a human role? Why you can?
Because AI doesn't know the truth. And AI cannot find the truth. It's not designed to find the truth. It pretends to find the truth, but it's not the truth. Take any conflict in this world. It's it has so many layers, it has so many players, it has so many um, dimensions, political implications. Everything is so complicated, and no ordinary citizen understands geopolitics these days. And it doesn't need an AI that basically twists and turns the facts and is maybe even influenced by fake news. It needs real people who understand how people actually think to explain in simple terms what, complicated diplomacy, complicated politics works like. And I think that is a crucial role in societies. And I wouldn't like to do without them.
All right. But in my perspective, I see that the main problem is the society are not yet ready to receive the technology because yeah, as we know, many negative things are made by AI. For example, like GPT, gaming. Yeah, in
Mm.
Indonesia, there are so many fake news, and the problem is the audience believe that news. So yeah, it's a little bit complicated, I think. All right.
Yeah, and it's concerning, I would say. It's concerning. Of course, in 2 minutes, you can write an article about something very complicated with the help of AI. But I think that defeats the purpose of journalism, right? That's not journalism. That's, relying on a machine to produce a reality that's maybe not real. And I think, for democratic societies, that's a real a real danger, I would say.
Yeah, maybe if you write an article in with AI, maybe all of people can do that, right? Not use a journalist, but all people can do that. All right. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it differs, right? I mean, for example, police news, right? There is a car crash on some road and, the police writes a report on it. I mean, there's nothing political, there's nothing an AI could get wrong about this, right?
Yeah.
That's, what's been put out everywhere, and that's not complicated. That can be done by AI. That not doesn't need to be a real person, right? But if it gets to, for example, political scandals, or digging deep on controlling the powerful people or holding them accountable, I think there needs to be a real journalist involved. That cannot be done by AI. Because the AI cannot interview or ask anyone. It can just, dig up facts that has been fed into the machine, right? It's not that AI can produce anything of its own. It has been fed with the facts, and the machine comes up with it. And for the very function of a journalist, this cannot be done by a machine.
All right. Before we end this interview, so maybe you have messages for all the audience who watch these videos.
Well, I don't think that I have a broader message. I mean, I think if that's what you're referring to, I think the role of journalists, in holding organizations like mine, or politicians accountable and shining a light on the people that we serve as an organization, getting their voices across, getting their voices heard, is a very important function, and that cannot be substituted.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful time, this opportunity for me. Can have a special interview with you. And don't forget to visit Indonesia, sir.
I have been to Indonesia
Oh,
actually.
you
Yeah,
already.
I was in Jakarta once, and of course I was in Bali, like many other
Yeah,
people.
many
But I
people,
know it.
yeah. If we talk about Indonesia, many people just know about Bali and Jakarta.
I
Oh,
know. I know it's a pity. It's a pity. But I've been to Jakarta, so it's not only Bali.
I you have to visit Flores, Flores, Komodo. You know
Flores?
Komodo?
Yeah.
You,
No,
oh,
I've
yeah,
I've not been to Komodo, but Flores is further east, right?
yeah, East, near from Timor Leste.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah, that's one province.
You're from there?
Yeah, I'm from Flores, Maumere.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
I hope sometimes in the future maybe you can visit Flores.
No, really. I mean, I will definitely not visit Bali again, but I'll probably visit Flores then.
Ah, that's good, sir. That's good.
Okay.
And maybe you have to try mokes.
Mokes?
Moke is
Moke.
yeah, moke is very delicious, more delicious than Jack Daniels. So you have to try that.
Okay. I will do. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful time, and God bless you always. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Maurizio. All
Yeah,
the
thank
best
you.
for your studies.
Thank you and thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Have a
Bye
good
bye.
day. Have a good day. Good morning.